You got to be out of your mind to give Ezekiel Elliott a new contract for exactly the reason Dan Graziano said. He's under your total control at this point for not 1 but 2 more seasons, and then you theoretically have the option of franchising him not just once but twice. In theory, you control his rights at a reasonable number for the next 4 years. And unlike your sport of basketball, where Paul George can walk in and say, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore, and they trade you in 2 days, there is really nothing Ezekiel Elliott could do about it.
So the dynamics are very different. And if you want at a future date, we can bore everybody with an intricate discussion of CBA negotiations and how it ended up the way it has. But I don't think that's interesting. In this case, I do think the running back, another stat for you, the running back position, there are more players that play kicker with more than $10 million in guaranteed money than running backs in the league right now. So the system is broken for running backs. And I think that Ezekiel Elliott, I would argue that you're right. From the team's perspective, they shouldn't pay him, but he shouldn't show up either. And maybe all the running backs together shouldn't show up, because right now, having 5 years, the ability to exercise a 5th-year option on first-round drafted players makes it so their most productive and their most valuable years is very similar to how the baseball system works. That they happen, and then they come up to free agency, and we all know that they're on a decline. It's not fair.
Okay, so if you're Jerry Jones, and Ezekiel Elliott tells you, if you don't give me a deal, I'm not playing. You are playing this year without me, I'm sitting. And you know that you have set this year up, talent-wise, the draft, all that stuff, to go make a run. You're not going to pay him?
No, because I'm going to win.
Your season's done.
That's a game of chicken that I'm going to win. I'm going to look you in the eye, and I'm going to say, I own an asset that is worth $5 billion. You have 13. I'm looking at the numbers on the screen. He's got $13 million left on his rookie contract. That's $13 million. He's not getting anywhere else in life. Where's he going? Now you're going to hold out? Now where are you going?
Yeah, your season's done, though.
The other thing is, that's a
My
dynamic.
season's done because he's coming back.
That's a dynamic that you don't want to create with your best player. So I understand that you can say that, and in principle it works out fine, but that's something that doesn't always go over well. If you create that division between your best player, it's something that can permeate the locker room. So I think it's a risky thing. Ezekiel Elliott's power is more than just not running.
You know, I'm just sitting here and I'm just thinking about all the players that Bill Belichick has come to before their contracts were over, and he has extended them long term and given them more money. Oh, that's right. He's never done that in his life because the system is set up against the players. That's just the reality of it, and you either take advantage of it or you don't. And Zeke Elliott, unfortunately, has no real option but to play for the amount of money that's left on his contract.
He does have an option.
Yeah. What is
it? The option is not to show up.
And that's not to get paid. That's an option not to get paid.
I agree. It's an option not to get paid. It's an option to get paid if your leverage is there. The point you're making, you know what Jerry Jones would do for another Super Bowl championship? Yep. And right now, Ezekiel Elliott holds that potential of that ring in his hand. And the threat to Jerry Jones is, this is your best opportunity. This is when you have all your best players in their prime. I'm going to take your very best one and sit him on the sideline.
No,
maybe he's not brave enough to do that, but he does.
You're right, because all those guys who lead the league in rushing in recent years who've won the Super Bowl, I'm just thinking about all of those. They all
Todd Gurley
doesn't happen.
Todd Gurley and the Rams are a handful of plays away, and then that argument
not thanks to Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was MIA when the playoffs were going on.
You're arguing against yourself because they went and got CJ off the couch to come rush the football.
So first of all,
Rams.
the regular season, unlike the NBA, it matters. So home field advantage and things like that matter for the Rams to get a home playoff game to play the Cowboys in LA. Second of all, if Todd Gurley is healthy in the Super Bowl and utilized in the Super Bowl,
they score more than 3 points.
Okay, so then that proves the argument for me that the running back, a transcendent, a different running back does matter. I understand that the guys that are good, people like to group them together, but the point goes to this. If Ezekiel Elliott does not play for the Cowboys this year, their season is over.
I agree with you.
It's done, so he has power.
But we're not the people devaluing the running back spot. It's the people in the NFL that are doing that while elevating the kicker spot. And Greeny, I have to pull your coat to something that these guys are going to appreciate me saying.
Yeah.
It says up there that Zeke is going to get $13 million.
Right.
Everybody that's counting somebody else's money, let me tell you, after he pays Uncle Sam and his agent, he's going to get $6 million.
Right.
Okay, so he's in a different position from Le'Veon Bell. That's what made Le'Veon Bell's situation so unique. He had the money stored, and he was willing to sit out and miss $13 or so million per season and then come back and get a big deal with the Jets. Most players aren't going to be willing to do that.
He was also multiple steps ahead in the process,
correct.
right? He was able to become a free agent. Ezekiel Elliott could sit out an entire season. Doesn't mean he can go sign a deal with the Jets.
I agree with you from the perspective, if I'm Jerry Jones or I'm on the organization side, is I say that I'm not going to pay him. But I'm just making the point that he does have more leverage than you're giving him credit for.
Not sure.
To be able to take that ring out of or off of Jerry Jones's hand, the potential of that ring, that's real. That's real. That's something that a team should fear. And this is a perfect example because you think of Emmitt Smith, the one everyone points to as the one successful holdout. Missed the first 2 games. They're 0-2. He signed them up. All of a sudden, they're back where they belong. So that's something that I think that Jerry Jones himself has experienced. So he could be scared or at least pushed to make a deal in this situation.
Again, we are not putting enough respect on Ezekiel Elliott's name and his accomplishments. Again, he has the most yards total per game in the history of the NFL, no matter what the position. We're talking about a guy that is doing things only Hall of Famers have done. Not really good, not, oh man, this guy's done a lot of nice stuff.
Pro bowlers, not all pros.
Right.
Hall of Fame.
Great. And so are you as an organization willing to go, I'm going to let the guy who's done what no one else has done in the history of the NFL walk out of my building because people have devalued a position?
The actual answer to that question, unfortunately, is yes. And if I have devalued him or not put respect on his name, then I've not made my point correctly. Ezekiel Elliott might be the best running back in the NFL. But if I'm looking at you and I have 2 options, I can either pay you $50 million or $13 million to do the same exact job. Or and I'm a businessman. I'm an idiot.
Or you stay at home.
There's a third option that he doesn't show up and you miss the playoffs.
But now we're staring at each other, and who wins that game of chicken? The guy with $5 billion in his pocket or the other guy?
Because it becomes big bank take little bank. And is Ezekiel Elliott going to do what Le'Veon Bell did, not get the $13 million over 2 years in order to prove his point to the Cowboys?
It also depends on, we don't know what Zeke has done. If Zeke's been relatively smart with the money he has made, he can hold.
Just pay him. Pay him all.
I think we can all agree this was an outstanding conversation, and if there's one thing that I think has become clear, it's that I was right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.